with Cards HQ coming to a close this past weekend, there's a lot of things that ended up leaking from LifeStream, and let's go and cover them. It was insane with everything that happened. Um, so like there were a couple things that were handed out with just some promotional cards, um, and some prototype cards just for LifeStream. However, going into the next couple days after Cards HQ's event, what ended up happening is a bunch of product placement just kind of ended up revealing a little bit too much, and it ended up being a little bit chaotic because now we're privy to a whole lot of information that we weren't originally supposed to be knowing. So, you know, let's go over it because some of it we don't have any idea like what it's supposed to be, and then some of it we actually do thanks to some other product um some product placement. So, first off, we actually have the whole deck lists for the 4 starter decks. This is something that's insane. This is like this wasn't even announced yet that, you know, and we have it fully known. We have it fully known thanks to just websites putting up pre-orders. So, again, thanks to the pre-orders, because of websites, uh, we know the full list. We don't know the effects of some of these cards, but let's go over this list because this is insane. So, first off, Glaciersa, Champion of Kione, which, my boy! I'm ecstatic. Whoever doesn't know, I am the biggest Glaciersa fan ever. I love Glaciersa. He is my boy. He's my favorite. Um, at the last Moonrise premiere, I ended up building a Glaciersa Turbo, like Nexus Turbo deck, and ended up getting 20th at that event, and it was fantastic. I love that deck, and I love Glaciersa. Just off the fact that no one else really does. So I've come to love him more as time's gone on, and now that we're getting him with Champion of Kione, I am ecstatic. And stick around to the end because, oh boy, thanks to the leaks, we know a little bit more than we should. So, Glaciersa, Champ Kione. Next up, Ursicle, Champion of Kione. That's another one. We don't know what that one does thanks to the leaks, but it's nice to know. Urskote, Champ of Kione, we already know what that one is. Abominursa, Champion of Kione. We'll circle back to that one. Moralith, Champion of Kione. So she's the one who's in charge of the Moralith. Um, I'm ecstatic to see what that ability is whenever that one gets revealed. I will say that's not revealed from the leaks. Next up, we have the Brumalinx. We already know what the Brumalinx does. Ampharostrix, Champ of Kione. We do not know what Ampharostrix does. We do know what Narpoon does. We do know what Whale Lance does. And then going to the regular cards for the Elestral side, one Ursicle, two A-Bomb, one Catarant, one Ampharostrix, one Narpoon, one Whale Lance. So the Elestral side looks pretty good. We know a couple, and then there's a good couple that we don't. And the ones that we don't are really interesting. But let's go over to the runes, because the runes here are really cool. So it's 2 Kione, 1 Scepter, 2 Mountains, 2 Blizzard, 2 Hibernation. This one here is interesting. 1 Ice Age. What is Ice Age? What is Ice Age? Like, I What is that? I, I don't know. Knowing that we're getting a brand new card, and because it's not with the rest of the, it's not blocked with the rest of the Omni runes, it's a brand new Frost rune. So we don't know what that does. And I'll say right now, with the rest of the leaks, I'm spoiling it, we don't know what it does. It was not part of the rest of the leaks, so this is going to be fun. We'll hopefully soon we'll know what it does, but that's going to be fun. Next up, Blizzard Whiteout. So looks like it's a titled Blizzard. I don't know what that does either. Again, wasn't part of the leaks. Kione's Frostbite. So it looks like that's Kione's, like, I want to dub it the divine action. So I know they're not actions, I know they're runes, but technically you can't call them a divine rune because they are the divines, but I want to call it like a divine action, Hestia's Hearth, Hermes' Trickery, Zeus's Call, Poseidon's Fury. This is her Frostbite. So I personally am dubbing them uh the divine's action. So this is her action, is her Frostbite. Really cool. So I'm assuming that one of the cards uh in this deck, and I want to assume, there is no guarantee, but I have an assumption on who up here searches it, but one of these cards up here searches it. And I'll say this, we know what Urskot's ability does, because we have it. We do know what Abominursa's ability does, because it's part of the leaks. The only one that we do not know is Ursicle's effect. So, my guess is Ursicle will be, it might do something. I don't know what it does. But similar to like how, we have Torchin for Hestia, and then we have Spy Nymph for Hermes. I want to assume that one of these, because I know it's not going to be the Morolith, and I know it's not going to be the it's not Bruma, it's not Narpoon, it's not Waylands. We already know what those are. So the only other options of a Kione searcher is either Frostrix or Ursicle. So those are the two options. And just from looking at it, I want to assume it's Ursicle, just because the rest of the cards here are kind of spoken for, but could be Frostrix. Those are the only two that are completely not spoken for, other than Morlith, but we're not having a Lith be the searcher for the Divine. And granted, it is cool that, I am actually really curious. I would love to know what this does. Ambrosia, Gorgons, Pandora's, Shield of Achilles, and Spoiled Fruit. Oh my god, we're getting a Spoiled Fruit. That's amazing. That needed a reprint so bad. And I will say this, according to these leaks, it does need one. So next up, the Aphrodite. So first up, we have Lakagon, Champ of Aphrodite. So that's the title card, as we know from the product pictures of the, the playmat and everything, or whatever it was. I don't really remember, but we know that she has her Lakagon. And then Dratagua, Champ of Aphrodite. You have Foamy, Champ of Aphrodite. Caprigal, Champ of Aphrodite. Aphoros, Champ of Aphrodite. We know what Bubloon, Champ of Aphrodite does, because we have it in Shattered Stars. And then Dratagua, Lakagon, Foamy, Caprigal, Aphoros, Magnaros, Champ of Aphrodite, Pelaquarius, champ of Aphrodite, and Pelaquarius. So I will say, knowing what we're going to see in a little bit because of what was revealed at Cards HQ, this Elestrals list is very understandable. So we will see what her ability does, because she was actually revealed and given out, I think, as a prize card for the champion at Cards HQ. So we will go over her ability in a bit. So let's see. There's 2 Aphrodite, an artifact, 2 necklace of Aphrodite. That's interesting. 2 Atlantis, 1 Rise. Aphrodite Soulmates. That's her action. A tsunami, a hurricane. I like that they only put 1 hurricane because of the ban list. I guess they might have either future-proofed it, or they just knew to only put 1. I don't know. 2 Monsoon, Ambrosia, Nectar, Arresting, Gorgon, Shield. Okay, nothing else really. Like, this deck really is nothing special. I will say we know nothing of anything Aphrodite-wise. We do know a little bit of the leaks for a tiny bit of her stuff. I will say it's literally just her 2 title cards up here. But they're awesome and great, but we will see them. We'll see them later. Next up, it'll be Dionysus. This is the other divine we're getting. So, Lotagon, champ of Dionysus. Drataya, champ of Dionysus. Sprouter, Satimber, Centarbur, Psynectar, Wasp Ivy, and Psyprong champ. And then you have a regular Psynectar and a regular Wasp Ivy, a regular Rummagem, and 2 Astrabbit. Wow. They really just want to throw a rabbit there. That's funny. All right. Nothing really to say. Like, I actually really don't know much. The leaks only give us a very tiny amount of Dionysus's stuff. So that's it's nice to know. But I will say it is pretty cool. Dionysus, a Theresis of Dionysus. Okay, I guess another artifact. Pholoiphorus, Earthquake. This is his action. Dionysus' Madness. That's cool. Nectar of the Gods, Dionysus' Chalice. Okay, that's pretty cool. All right, that's a titled Nog. So I'm assuming that something here works with Nog and can search Nog. And then you have Poisoned Nectar, Dionysus' Chalice. And then you have Poison Tunic, Ambrosia, Pandora's Box, PTA, Shield, Ambrosia. That's... I think the coolest thing is you have a Poison Nectar and a regular Nectar, both with... that's titled for Dionysus. I'm really curious to see what they do. And I think those are that's the coolest thing. And I'm interested to see exactly what it is that they do. Other than that, I'm curious to see exactly what Dionysus's skill is. He was not leaked, I will say that. And again, I'm also curious to see what most of his stuff does. There's only very few things that got leaked for him. Going on to the last list, which is Artemis. This, I will say, very few things leaked for her as well, but the few things that did leak are terrifying. So we have Posthumous, champ of Artemis, Faunlet, Theraheart. So this, if you did see the ban list, this will be 100%, this will make a lot of sense. If you did not see the ban list, watch the ban list. 2 Werepup, champ of Artemis, and then 1 Lycavoid, champ of Artemis. So they errataed Lycavoid's effect to work with what they want Artemis's whole archetype and playstyle to be, which is mass suppression. So now you special cast Werepups equal to the amount of suppressed cards your opponent controls, instead of just mass summoning werepups. Um, so this now works so much better than just playing werepup full moon go like a void. Pandalin's Champ Artemis, Specteris, Champ Artemis, Bandaloon Champ Artemis. Okay, I don't think we have a Bandaloon. So the only, yeah, I don't think we have Bandaloon. So we know 1, 2, 3, 4. So these 4 are just completely reprinted. So the only things here that are new are these and that. Werepup, Like a Void, Fawnlet, Spec. I'm a little scared because I'm looking down here. Good God, I'm terrified. Artemis, Bow of Artemis, Temple of the Moon, Lunar Phase, Lunar Eclipse. I don't know what Lunar Eclipse does. I'm I'm terrified to know what Lunar Eclipse does. Um, for context, a lunar eclipse in the real world, uh, kind of gives it away. So, if we want to assume that, I'm terrified. I don't want to make any assumptions, but lunar eclipse makes it very telegraphed exactly what it means, and I'm scared. What it does also mean is we're getting a 9th lunar phase for Volclips, and I've been trying to do Volclip stuff. Poison Tipped Arrow, Artemis's Arrow. Ooh, titled PTA, I like that. Artemis's Deadshot, okay. Her action. Dense Fog. We are getting a full moon. We're getting a reprint common rarity full moon. I love it. 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 This is the best starter deck ever. And it'll be probably one of the better ones to actually play too. So invest in this one. If you invest in any, invest in this one. You'll see from the leaks. Rise from the Shadows, terrifying, just off of the fact that the word rise. We have 2 other cards in this game that have the word rise from. Rise from the Abyss and Rise from the Ashes. I don't want to know what this one does. I really don't want to know what this one does. Because I want to assume what it does, and I don't want to assume what it does. We can assume what it does, and we don't want it. Cryoblasts, Gorgon's Gaze, and regular PTA. Okay. Other than the Lunar Phase Full Moon, I think this is honestly a amazing honestly, I think this whole entire deck is amazing. Outside of the Glaciersa deck, which in opinion is my favorite deck, just solely off the fact that Glaciersa is my favorite Elestral of all time. I think this is this here is just I think just going to be the best value and bang for your buck, just because you're getting a common printing of Full Moon. But now let's actually go to the leaked cards from what we saw from Cards HQ, and then after that we're going to go to probably the product placement. So first off, this is a card that Dan himself was playing at the event, Morfrost Chimera Form. So Morfrost Chimera Form is a 5/2 1-drop that you can discard a Morfrost in order to draw a card. I was hearing mixed opinions about this card. Legitimately, I like this card. I think it's a good card, and I think it's probably what Morfrost needed. It's a going first card because you go Lycan form, get Bat, get Chimera, play Chimera, Chimera ditch Bat, draw a card, Bat summon Lycan. You now have 2 bodies on board, you've drawn an extra card, you've deck thinned a tremendous amount, and you have a 5 attack body, and you've only used 1 card from your hand. That does not account for the other 4. Um, I like this card a lot. Um, and again, this is a once per turn. This is non-conditional discard and draw. Um, Anyone who says this is bad, I think they're wrong. 100%. Now, I am a non-competitive player, so take my opinion with a grain of salt, but I truly do believe this is a 100% great card, just because cycling, that is what this ability is. In every other card game, this is considered cycling, is probably one of the most useful skills in all of card games. And the fact that you have it for free without a cost is by far the best thing you could do. So let's go to the next one. Roy Loddle. Okay, it's a 2/2 solar. When your opponent declares an attack, you can foretell 3 and negate that attack if a solar Elestral was foretold this way. Then add 1 solar Elestral foretold this way to your hand. All right. So I think that's pretty good. It's very situational. And I think if your opponent's able to suppress this before they attack, it's very outable. It's a 2 defense. It's cryoblastable. Um, However, I think it's just really strong because it foretells on your opponent's turn. So if you have Exaltus in your hand, this dies. Um, you summon Exaltus. Exaltus is bigger than most things that your opponent wants to attack with. Um, if you're playing a good amount of solar Elestrals, this thing can grab a solar Elestral. It negates the attack. Hey, if no, cows need to technically be added, foretold by Apollo, but there's a good amount of just solar in general that would like to be added off of this. I think it's a good card nonetheless. Um, Next up, here's Aphrodite. So this card, I believe, was actually handed out as a prize card, and this, in my opinion, is the best art that we are getting of Aphrodite. And I will say this knowing that we are getting a full art Locagon because it's a box topper. And spoiler, because we're going to be talking about it later. And I will rant about the fact that the Elite Four, whoever did this art, is amazing. And I love it. And whoever did the box topper art, I hate it because it looks disgustingly ugly. And I will talk about it later. And you can flame me in the comments. Please do. It's great for the YouTube algorithm. But Aphrodite's skill. When you cast this Aphrodite, similar to every divine, you enchant it with 3 of its element. When you disenchant, you can disenchant water from this Aphrodite in order to search your deck for any card with the same name as a water Elestral on your field and add it to your hand. So this is why her starter deck had all of the same names. It essentially just says, I'm going to play this card, activate Aphrodite, search my deck for either the regular form or the titled form. Boom, done, toolbox. And you will see later through the leaks, some cards actually are not that card and are different cards. This ability, in my opinion, is really, really good. I think it will take a good amount of skill to be able to pull this off and make her deck just actually like good. Just off the fact that she herself doesn't really do anything. What she does is she enables other things to do stuff, but she herself does nothing. She searches for the cards, but you actually need stuff on the board in order to search. So you need to make sure you have your pieces. Next up, though, we have Ursaden. I love Ursaden. I think this is probably my favorite full art. Just for the fact that I think I'll say this for a good amount of the full arts that we'll see. I love Ursaden. I love this art in general. We saw this art from Clash, and this, in my opinion, is such a beautiful art. I'm so happy that we are getting this as a full art in this set. Um, Only downside is I might just play my Stellar version, just because I like the Stellars, but I might just also play this depending on how I feel. So I'm happy either way. I'm not a picky player. But these were all the cards that we saw from Cards HQ. Now, now we're going into unknown territory, and what I mean by unknown territory is we started with some unsavory product placement. We went into Cards HQ. Now we're going into probably the worst and most unfortunate product placement fail ever, because we have a whole lot of cards that actually got leaked and we have effects for them. First up, we have Sprouter, Champ of Dionysus. Yup, this adorable little goober right here. Sprouter, Champ of Dionysus is a 2/5 1-drop that says you can Nexus Earth. When you do, you can search your deck for a Champ of Dionysus card or a Dionysus's Madness and add it to your hand. I love it. This card alone just says you can either search your deck for any titled card within the archetype or search your deck for your divine action. And I love that. I love it because it gives you a way to actually use the action and not just have it be a brick in the deck. A lot of decks actually wanted to use those actions. Hermes decks almost solely relied on trickery to use it in combos, as a battle trick. And sometimes if you didn't see trickery, or if you didn't see Hermes, of course, you didn't, do anything. Like, the deck failed. Hestia decks, half the time, needed to see Hearth. Not really, because let's be real, Hestia decks don't really do much, but if you're playing a Hestia deck, 9 times out of 10, you're running Hearth. And if you don't see Hearth, sometimes you're not winning. Like, you're not doing anything. So, actually needing to see your divine action is necessary. So, having a searcher for these actions is super, super nice and super, super enjoyable and refreshing. Next up, Kindleo, Champ of Hestia. I love it, and especially it's just Lion King, a fun, cute little Disney reference. It's 4/1. It's a little bit stronger. I love how they're all just a little bit stronger than their original counterparts until you get to like their regular form, their like max form here. But when you special cast as Kindleo, you can return up to three fire. You're almost always doing that from Underworld to Spirit deck, or search your deck for a Leonite and add it to your hand. This card does one of two things. It either searches your deck for its Ascension form, because you're special casting it with Hestia to ascend over to it, which soft confirms Champ Leonite, because they're never going to release one part of an Ascension line without the other part of the Ascension line in the same set. But also, this could just mean you can search for regular Leonite. What this also means is that you refund your entire Kindleo summon if you want. So Kindleo, on summon, that costs 1 spirit from your spirit deck, as well as 2 spirits, so 3 in total, because you need to use 2 spirits off of Hestia. That's 3 spirits, all in total, to summon 1 dude. And now, Kindleo says you can put 3 spirits from Underworld back. So either you refund the entirety of the summon, or you could search your deck for a Leonite and add it to hand. It's not a bad card. I think it's interesting. It is very situational. I would need to see what Hestia gets in the set to really just put my final verdict on it, because right now, everything that Hestia has does not scream, this is great, and whatever Hestia has now is kind of garbage. I love Hestia. She's right now my favorite. Uh, she's my favorite divine art, but Kione's my favorite divine in general. But honestly though, like I will say I'm not liking how Hestia's stuff really is panning out. I think just without a consistent way to um put the deck together, I think it's lacking a good glue. So I'm hoping that the rest of her pieces kind of come together this set, or as the rest of the Divine Champions series wraps up, we will hopefully soon see her kind of flourish. Smoltuga. All right, next one is Smoltuga, Champ of Hephaestus. This ability is cracked. So 3/4, 1-drop. Your Hephaestus can also search for fire invoke runes. Someone says searchable eruption? Searchable stoke the forge? Reforge? Anything? If it has a fire on it, you're good. This is the same thing as a Findust. I believe. Almost certain. Findust. Yes. Search your deck for a wind rune and add it to hand. Search your deck for fire invoke. As long as it's an invoke rune that has at least one fire on it, you're good. So that there allows your Hephaestus to search for anything. Not only that, but you can reveal an artifact to special send into a Krakatuga from hand or deck. This is insane. I don't know what the new Krakatuga does because it's not revealed in this leak. However, what it will do, now, as of recording this video, I will say this, as of recording this video, I will try to edit this and post this as quickly as possible. I have not seen the newest Shattered Stars reveal. I tried to record this as soon as I could. I had to re-record this just to try and make it a little bit better. And then the Shattered Stars actually came out earlier today while I was at work, and I'm trying my best to not watch it so that I could also live react to it. So I've kept away from that, and I don't know what got revealed today, other than whatever the title said. So something might have gotten revealed today, but I don't know. However, what I do know is I don't know what the Krakatuga does, but hey, I don't care what the new Krakatuga does. I like old Krakatuga. I used to play Krakatuga in my bear deck, so having a special castable old Krakatuga with searchable eruption, I love it. It's great. Wonderful. Sign me up. Next up, this is what I was talking about. Dratagua, Champion of Aphrodite. It's a 1/4, 1-drop. Your Aphrodite's effect can also find a Lakagon. So, how I said that she is able to search for any card that has the same name as a card on your board, Dratagua says that this technically is also a Lakagon. That's not technically what it's saying, but if this is on board, Aphrodite is searching only for a Dratagua. However, if this is on board and it has its effect, it's also saying that it can search for Lakagon. Meaning, now it goes from searching Dratagua and Dratagua's Champ of Aphrodite to Dratagua, Dratagua, Champ of Aphrodite, Lakagon, Lakagon, Champ of Aphrodite. Then it also says you can Nexus Water. When you do, search your deck for a fish Elestral and add it to hand. Cool. That's a lot of fish Elestrals that I don't know what it does. All I know is that Lakagon is scary, and we will get to see one later. If you watched my ban list video, or if you watched the ban list video that was already there and you didn't, watch mine, my reaction to it, Dan made mention that Thunderstorm is going to be a very played card. I already knew about these leaks because these leaked before the ban list video came out. That's how long ago these leaks were. I just didn't know if I was able to talk about them. This card is the reason that I knew about the Thunderstorm, and I alluded to it in my video. I didn't know if I was able to talk about it or not. So I kind of waited until I was like able to fully talk about them because I'm a small channel. I don't want to get in trouble. But because I am able to talk about it, I wanted to try and put this up as soon as I could. So Funglow Charged, titled Funglow. When this Funglow can be special cast from your hand with 1 Thunder if Thunderstorm Supercell is enchanted, or if you cast Thunderstorm this turn. The text, the only thing that you need to worry about in this card is this right here. If Thunderstorm Supercell is enchanted, the only way that a Thunderstorm of any kind can be enchanted on the board for this to see it and be able to be summoned is if the new Thunderstorm, as Supercell, is either an artifact, a divine, or a stadium. And between you and me, it is no artifact, because I do not see any Thunderstorm being a physical object in which I can huck at something. I am not taking this pen and hucking it, and that pen being a Thunderstorm. It is not a divine, because we know what the 4 divines of this set are. We saw the 4 starter decks. So process of elimination, it is a stadium. We are getting a stadium titled Thunderstorm off of process of elimination. It was not leaked. It's process of elimination just off of what this card says right here. Is enchanted. The is enchanted is process of elimination. I am only speaking process of elimination. But that means that now you have 3 more cards. Technically, you have 3 more copies of Thunderstorm, searchable off of Titanostrike, Champ of Zeus. And that also means regular Titanostrike has 3 more copies of a card that technically proc its effect to pop something when it's played. Thunderstorm, as a whole, is, I want to assume, going to be an archetype just off of what Funglow Charged reveals to us. Just off of that one little bit of text. The if Thunderstorm Supercell is enchanted. Those 5 words right there, that's exactly what it can be assumed. Nothing more, nothing less. Next up, we have Findust. I'll tell you this, I don't understand what this Findust is trying to say. I've been trying to read it now for a couple days. I've known about this Findust since like Saturday or Sunday. I don't know. I don't know when the leaks happened. All I know is I've been trying to read it. I can't tell you. Findust, Champ of Aeolus. What's a 1/6? Wind runes that you use to play... wind spirits you use to play runes that are enchanting cards on your field are also treated as earth. When this Findust receives 2 or more earth, you can special cast a Findust or Hebufin from your hand or deck. I have no idea what that means. Please tell me in the comments what that means if you can understand whatever mumbo jumbo that means. This is official text, by the way. So, please, someone who is much smarter than I am. Aeolus, I have no idea what half of his stuff does. He is a deck I do not understand. Nemisail, finally, gives me a reason to actually consider Terrasail. Still won't let me consider Terrasail. It's a 2/2 1-drop. When you cast a rune with wind, you can return a wind from Underworld to your spirit deck. When you can disenchant a water from this Nemisail in order to special ascend it to Terrasail from your hand or deck. It's really good. It seems like you'd want to actually play this with Monsoon, just off the fact that you can quick enchant it with water on your turn or on the opponent's turn, like whenever, just to kind of get it to be water enchanted. Next cup though, and this is where I get excited because it's my little nugget. My nugget. When I say Glacius is my favorite Elestral, I mean it's my favorite Elestral. Abominursa is also my favorite Elestral because read this little bugger. Abominursa, Champ of Keone, it's a 4/1, 1-drop. When this Abominursa destroys an Elestral in battle, you can Nexus Frost from your Keone to it. When you do, you can special ascend this Abominursa to Glaciursa from your hand or deck. I love this. He is derpy. He is chonky. He's a chonky nugget. And he's my chonky nugget. He's my nugget. He's a chonky nugget. I want a big plushie of him sitting right here. My nugget. Don't dare do anything about it. I love this thing. I love this thing so much. He's adorable. I do not understand just why they made him look this cute and just fuzzy. But at the same time, this ability is really good because just what I've learned from Frost, from building the Chivalry deck for the BFB, is you kind of want to actually play Frost, and from seeing how Keone plays, with also the new Urskoat, you're really kind of just slowing your opponent down. You're freezing over their back row. You're really just controlling the back row, and then leaving their Elestrals as wide open as possible, so that you're almost guaranteeing that this thing is charging in for an attack 100% guaranteed, without fail, so that you can actually get this into the Glaciursa. And that Glaciursa is terrifying, and we'll get to that in a bit. But I love him. I love him to death. So I cannot wait to start using him, because after I read this effect, um, I really think that it's going to be a very scary card. Next up, though, if you guys remember Yada locking from Yu-Gi-Oh, welcome to Sundial. If you thought that adorable nugget was large and chonky, this adorable nugget just wants to go chomp. Sundial is another 4/1 bugger that says when this Sundial destroys an opponent's Elestral in battle, you can force that opponent to skip the draw phase of their next turn. Good lord, I never thought I'd see the day where Yada locking came back in any card game, and here we are. The Time Crocodile decided to actually do Time Crocodile stuff. And I can only assume what the rest of his line does, if this is what the little Chompy does here in in its first form. Please tell me little Chompy here isn't what's to come for the rest of it. From the initial reaction to the leaks, it does not seem like people are ecstatic about it. I'm not ecstatic about it, especially for the fact that a lot of people do overlook a 4-stat. However, as I am one to witness firsthand, I have overlooked the 4-stat many times. Then I'm on the receiving end of a Sorlet Champ of Aeolus being destroyed, and then seeing a Chrysor Champ of Aeolus smack me in the face for 2. Every time. Not happy about it. So 4-stats are stupid, and I don't like it when they're being played against me. So anytime I see a 4-stat, I'm terrified of it now. So I'm not. I think it's a good effect. I'm terrified to see what the rest of the line does. And yeah, no, we're let's continue. I love her. Just personally for me, I love the way that they made Artemis here. I think just the way that they made her face in particular in just this art, she looked really pretty. Uh, Fawnlet, Champ of Artemis, 2/5, 1-drop. You can enchant. I love how they made this. You can enchant Lunar from your underworld to this Fawnlet if a card on your opponent's field is suppressed. While a suppressed Elestral is on the field, this Fawnlet cannot be destroyed by battle. I really like this effect. I think it's really strong. However, I don't really think it's that good. The reason I say that is very simple. Unless you have a way to keep your opponent's suppressed Elestral from ascending, this thing is actually not as protected as you think. So I like the synergy you have with this. You play this Fawnlet in defense, you play Artemis, you disenchant one from Artemis, target your opponent's Elestral, make it suppressed, or any card, and then this card will take the Lunar that you just disenchanted from your Artemis and put it onto this Fawnlet. I really like that synergy. I think it's really strong. I think it's really smart. However, your opponent on the next turn can just say, cool, you targeted my Elestral? I'm gonna just ascend over it. The way you get around it is by targeting, let's say, your opponent's like Divine Rune. So now they have to choose, do they keep the Divine Rune on the field or do they not? Or do they, let's say, you target their stadium. Do they keep the stadium or do they not? And they can't just play another stadium over it because they then need to actually use the spirit off of it. So there are ways around it, but this effect is not the best because there is counterplay to it. I just, you know, I like it. I love the synergy of the first effect though. And now we get to the last 4 cards that got leaked. And these are the 4 full art box toppers. And these effects are terrifying. First up, though, Lotagon, Champ of Dionysus. Now, they did my boy good. I love Dionysus. When I started seeing that Dionysus was gonna be on the other Divine for LifeStream, I was ecstatic. I was like, oh, can't wait. I really want to try him. And this effect is really good. You can, once per turn, target and destroy a face-down rune if this Lotagon is enraged. What does enrage do? We don't know yet. It hasn't been officially revealed. And I'm ecstatic to see that we're getting something brand new. From what it seems like, we're getting it just for Dionysus. It might be thematic for Dionysus, but it is pretty cool that when you're in this state, Lotagon gets an ability, and it's just pop a face-down card. I really think that's cool. When this Lotagon is destroyed in battle or by an opponent's card effect, search your deck for an Ambrosia and add it to hand. So you just search your deck for a heal 3 card when this Lotagon gets destroyed. So, for anyone who wants to laugh by dark humor, here is the funny dark humor thing about it. The god of wine, hey look, there's the card sitting right there. That's pretty funny. The god of wine makes his dragon drunk, whatever kind of drunk, whatever enraged means. I think angry drunk. And then says, when the angry drunk dragon dies, we eat its guts. Poor dragon. Poor dragon. Next up, we have the worst art I've ever seen them ever release. Locagon, Champ of Aphrodite. Not for the dragon. I love the dragon. I hate the goddess. I think she's ugly. I literally think the E4 failed in this art. This is the worst art the E4 has ever released for Divine. Her face. Now, it could just be the way that it came out, but I don't like it. I hate it. I think she's disgustingly ugly in this art, and she looked beautiful in the first art. And I know the E4 has 4 artists, but come on, guys. Just put the same artist for the same Divine. Can't be that hard. You can special cast this Locagon from your hand with 2 water if you did not special cast a Locagon this turn. This is great synergy. You play Dratagua, you use Aphrodite's effect, search for Lakagon. Lakagon's effect, special cast Lakagon. Done. When you cast a Lakagon or Dratagua, you can return a water from your underworld to your spirit deck. What's amazing about this is very simple. Because this also works with any Lakagon or Dratagua, it also works with your other Lakagon or Drataguas, which means either your Dratagua is now healing 3, or your Lakagon is popping something on summon, and that I think is amazing. I'm really excited to see what her cards can do. I'm just really... I know it's going to be a little janky just off of the whole gimmick of needing to search for duplicates. But I really am... I'm curious to see just how it works. Next up, my boy. This is my boy. I love it. I love it. I love it. I wish I could have saved it for last, but I needed to save the Menace for last. So, Glacier's a champ of Kione, and I love whoever... Lorenzo. Thank you, Lorenzo, for making my girl just look so good in this art. Champ of Kione. I love how they made Kione look so good here. When this Glaciersa destroys an opponent's Elestral in battle, they must also expend spirits equal to the number of spirits enchanting each Kione on your field. So, in theory, you keep freezing your opponent's back row with your Brumalinks and your Urskoats. You keep just stunning and freezing and saying, no, you can't do anything. You then solidify that Glaciersa destroys an opponent's Elestral, and then you go into Glaciersa and say, hi, welcome, we're going to have fun. And then it burns your opponent. This is terrifying, and I love it. This art is beautiful. This effect is terrifying. And in my opinion, this is going to be such a menacing deck. I am not looking forward to just... I mean, I am going to look forward to seeing what this deck can do, but I'm not looking forward to seeing to seeing what it could do, because it's going to be terrifying and I'm going to love it. But I love how they did my boy justice. They made Glaciersa actually good. And don't get me wrong, I love Glaciersa. I want to go on just a mini tangent here because I love Glaciersa. He was already really good, but it was just... I think I was playing him wrong, and it was always just kind of tough to really warrant actually making him worth playing. Now that we have Obama and Ursa, a card actually, you know, worth playing to go into Glaciersa easily, and now you have 2 versions of Glaciersa that you can go into. The choices are really nice, and I think both options, especially this one to burn your opponent, is obviously just amazing, and this box topper is just beautiful. But now let's go into, I think, in my opinion, the boogeyman of the 4, and what I believe is what is on everyone's hit list for this set, from the leaks at least. Posthumous. This card, in my opinion, is what will make Spoiled Fruit probably one of the best cards to just stock up on in this set. So Posthumous, Champ of Artemis. When a suppressed Elestral is destroyed, in your attack or by your card effect, you can return up to 3 Lunar from your underworld to your spirit deck. Well, that's good. That's a lot of good healing, just unbridled healing whenever your opponent's suppressed Elestral is oh, that's just any suppressed Elestral. Oh. Oh, so if your opponent suppresses your guy and kills it, okay, you heal. All right, well, that's not terrible. While Artemis is enchanted, each of your opponent's Elestrals is suppressed. That's a floodgate. that's an unbridled floodgate. Nope, yep, there we go. That's what everyone's talking about. Yep. Nope, that's the boogeyman. There we go. I don't even know really what to talk about on that. Like, that is terrifying. Like, legitimately, it's terrifying. Because, if your opponent doesn't have a way to stop this Posthumous, you just continue to heal and you kind of floodgate your opponent. Now, whereas, sure, with Majesty, you had him in attack position, he only had 6 attack. It didn't matter, like, oh, you turned everything into water. Well, if your opponent still had water spirits, yeah, you had some form of counterplay to it. This just says if you have Artemis on the board, while Artemis is enchanted, if your opponent is playing an Artemis, doesn't even need to be playing this deck. Just if your opponent has an Artemis and you play this, all of their stuff is suppressed. Artemis and Titan, this suppresses it. That's how crazy this is. Legitimately, that's how crazy this is. And I think, in general, this is probably, of the 4 bosses from the starter decks, this is the boogeyman of all of them, just off of the fact that you actually have an unbridled floodgate. And this is why we have a high necessity of Thunderstorm coming in set 6. But that's it, guys. That was all of the leaks. So, what do you guys think of the leaks? What was your guys' favorite card of these leaks? And like, let me know down in the comments. What was your guys' favorite card of all these leaks? And what card are you guys looking forward to? Like, what are you guys looking forward to coming in LifeStream? And let me know down in the comments. And if you like the videos like this and want to see more stuff in the future, please consider liking and subscribing. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.